an entrepreneur and the director and co-founder of ZM Entertainment and Parties Limited. So, in June of last year, June 2020, Kadia was diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 2 breast cancer. Today, having gone through months of treatments and surgeries, she is now what we refer to as a breast cancer survivor. Having had first-hand experience with breast cancer, Kadia formed the Heads Up for Pink Foundation that supports young women fighting breast cancer. Kadia, it's such a wonderful thing to have you with us this evening. I am so grateful that you accepted the invitation to come on this program this evening to share your experience. Welcome, Kadia. How
Good
are you
night and
today?
thank you. I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being on tonight to share my story so that I can encourage others and spread awareness.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, we want to hear, our listeners want to hear about your experience. So, you said June of last year, you were diagnosed with breast cancer. What was that like? First of all, what led you to go to the doctor?
I didn't hear you. It just broke up then.
Okay, I was just asking,
Yeah.
what led you to go to the doctor before your diagnosis? What led you to go? Was it that you found
Okay,
a
so
lump?
I'm still not hearing. Okay, yeah, I still didn't hear you well, but I think I know what you're asking. So it was in March. No, it was in April when I felt the lump. I was taking a shower and I felt the lump because I'm always doing my self-examination. And I felt the lump and I went to my husband and I said, there's a lump in my breast. I was a little shocked, but I was wondering if it was just something, some hormone issue, something like that. But when I went to my husband, he said, let's watch it and see what's going on. So that was April. In May, so my menstruation came in April, and then the lump went away, and then I said, seemed like it's something hormonal. So when it was in May now, I felt the lump. It came back, and it came back earlier before like my menstruation would come. So I'm like, no, this is strange, and it felt huge, and it was a little bit painful. I know that they said that cancerous lumps that it doesn't hurt, but it does because it felt like a little stinging feeling, like, and I felt the lump again in early May, and it was I say, I'm not going to the doctor until like after my birthday, and because I didn't want to hear anything then until like after my birthday, then I will you know
Yeah.
prepare myself for that. And I was 31 when I turned 31, and I went to the doctor, like I think it was a week after my birthday. I went to the doctor. I don't know what compelled me to make the appointment, but I was at my cousin and she was saying that it's nothing, it's just when you reach in your 30s these things do happen. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm still going to get it checked out regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't me that made the appointment. I mean, I took up my phone like physically, but the mental part of it, I'm still puzzled up to today why I took up the phone and made that appointment, because I had no intention of going to the doctor regardless, because I was thinking it was just some premenstrual syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that no, man, this must be the work of God, because I don't know how I made the call to the doctor with no intention. I say, just made the call. It's either here or there, Virgo, it doesn't matter. And I found myself at the doctor. I got the appointment and I went to the doctor. And when I went to the doctor, I was explaining the lump to her, and she said to me, she said, no, you're too young, she don't think it's anything. And she felt the lump and she said that it's just something that they're going to aspirate.
Wow.
And I was feeling a little hopeful then, she
Mm-hmm.
said something that
Mm-hmm.
they're just going to aspirate. And I said, okay. And I said, listen, I have history of cancer in my family. She said, breast cancer. I said, no, just lymphoma. She said, okay, I'll just send you to do an ultrasound and mammogram. And I made the appointment. She said, just made the appointment now on your way back. So I made the appointment. It was a Wednesday, and I made the appointment, and I got through for Friday. So it was the Friday. To I went to the place to get the mammogram and ultrasound done. When I went there, I mean, I got up early. Um, I was a little nervous, but I was more thinking that, it's just something that they're going to aspirate. I wasn't thinking it was breast cancer. And when I went when I went in the room to do the mammogram, the radiologist, she didn't say anything. So I said, okay, it seemed like everything is fine because she didn't look concerned. Then I went in the ultrasound room, and I was there on the bed, and she was observing, and she said to me, I said, she was making the funny sound. So I said, everything is okay, doc. And she said, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not something that we're going to aspirate. I literally walked with the money that day to pay for the aspiration, to say that they are going to aspirate the lump. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, this is not something that we're going to aspirate. She said, it's breast cancer. That's what she told me. And I said, are you serious? I was there waiting for her to tell me that it was just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear her saying that she's joking. She said, but whatever it is, you'll be okay. And I'm like, is she serious? I was in so much denial. So I got dressed. I took back the letter to my doctor that very same day. My doctor started getting out panicking. She said, you have no waiting time. You can't wait. You need to do a surgical biopsy. We don't want a needle biopsy. We want a surgical biopsy so that we get everything to see what is going on. And I immediately she called the doctor, the surgeon, to do the surgical biopsy. And I said, you know what, just give me some time. Let me think about it. She said, you don't have any time to think. You need to get this done. And I gave it some thought, and I I called the doctor and I said, listen, I need to get this done the Monday morning. By the Monday morning, so I prepared myself over the weekend. I think it was a Saturday I was there. I was a little sad. I started feeling a little nervous, sad, broken down,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean everything was going well. And at that time you just feel like yes, everything is fine. You have to handle that life. But then, immediately when you got, a news like that, just, it's a broken handle.
Yeah.
So I it was a Saturday. I was sitting outside. I was pulling out my hair because I said maybe when I do the surgical biopsy, I won't be able to comb my hair. And I had long hair. And
Uh-huh.
I said, let me just prepare myself, plait up my hair. So I was getting my hair ready. And my daughter was sitting outside in her little dollhouse. And she said, Mommy, and she was only like 4 at the time. And she said, Mommy, let me play. As she said, she's going to play a song for me, and she played the fight song. I don't know if you know the fight song. It goes, this is my fight song, take back my life song.
Wow.
And she played that
Wow.
song. And from there I realized that you have to fight. This is it.
Yes.
This is the beginning of a journey. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to prepare yourself to fight. You have to fight for your daughter, fight for your life, fight for everyone around you. And I said, this is the beginning of the journey. And that's the moment when I realized that, yes, something is wrong. I'm about to go on a journey and I need to fight.
Wow.
And I did the surgical biopsy the Monday morning. I went into surgery. I did the surgical biopsy. I waited 3 weeks. And with that 3 weeks, I tell you something. I wish the doctor had mentioned to me, like, we don't know what we're dealing with. So please to see if you can probably change your diet a little bit. Within that 3 weeks, is like I knew that it was going to be my final 3 weeks of eating the things that I love,
Mm-hmm.
which would include chocolate, ice cream. I love a lot of sweet stuff, chocolate, ice
Mm-hmm.
cream, cake, stuff like that, fries, fried chicken. And I was eating all of that within 3 weeks. There was just a crave there. There was just a crave, and I couldn't understand. And I was like looking out of space, and I said, something is wrong with me. Why am I craving all this sweet stuff? Just, I know I normally crave it, but it was a little bit extra.
Uh-huh.
And I waited 3 weeks, and with that 3 weeks, I did bad with my eating. And with that 3 weeks, I waited on the results. I ordered a lunch. I remember the day, it was on a Thursday, and I ordered a nice Chinese lunch, man. And I'm telling you, my husband and I, we went to pick up the lunch, and we picked up the lunch and was heading back to the office to eat. And then my phone, I heard a message came in on my phone,
Uh-huh.
and I looked at the message, and when I looked at the message, it was a doctor messaging me. He said that I have the results and it's not good. So immediately I
Wow.
dropped the phone and I screamed,
Mm-hmm.
and I started screaming, and my husband said to me, what is it? And I was telling him, and I was crying because immediately it's not good. I'm thinking, yes, no, I have cancer, I'm going to die. And my
Yeah.
husband said to me, no, no, let us see what can be done. And that very moment, I'm like, a diagnosis, you're not even thinking that something can be done. You're just thinking immediately that, yes, you're going to die, no.
Right.
And when he said that, no, let us see what can be done, that was the hope for me then, that, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yes, something can be done. Let me
Uh-huh.
see what can be done. And I went to the doctor the same day. I didn't bother to eat the lunch. I didn't want anything to eat, of course, getting the news like that. And I went to the doctor the very day, and he told me that it was stage 2 breast cancer,
Mm-hmm.
estrogen driven. So he was explaining to me that I could take some pills and see if the lumps, because it's a good prognosis.
Mm-hmm.
um, so I said to him, no, I don't want to take any pills. I want to get it out. I don't want to take any pill and then watch and see what will work. And
Right.
it's actually a good thing that I didn't. I followed my instinct and I said, no, I need to get rid of this, because at that time I had spread to the lymph nodes. And I mean, the pills, it shrink tumors, is a good pill, but at the same time, I didn't want to take that risk.
Uh-huh.
And so I said I need to do surgery. And at the same time, there was a ovarian cyst. So they thought that there was a link between the cyst and the ovaries and the breast cancer if there was a spread. So my gynecologist said that it's best to remove the ovaries as well. And since the cancer is driven by estrogen, then your ovaries produce estrogen. So I would need to, he thinks that the best thing to do, he advised me to remove the ovaries. And then he said that the ovaries wouldn't have any purpose without the womb, wouldn't have any purpose without the
Without
ovaries,
the
so might as well
ovaries.
just remove everything.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so at that time now everything started moving fast. It was like a whirlwind. Everything was just crazy. Preparing for surgeries, the mental and physical, financially, it was a rough period, I tell you. It was a rough period. I remember at that time going through all of that, preparing for the surgery. I was suffering from anxiety attack, and I remember I was suffering t- terribly from that anxiety. I would be in the kitchen because, dealing with all of that, and then you don't have that energy that I used to have, that energy to cook and just do, just non-stop energy. And when I realized that I cannot even stand up in the kitchen to prepare a meal, to make a cup of tea, I started crying. I would
Let me
leave the
ask you,
kitchen and I would just go and.
the
Mhm.
energy, the lack of energy, was it from the illness or was it mental, emotional?
It was mental, emotional, and then I wasn't eating. I stopped eating because you just believe that everything is bad. No, you don't want to eat anything because you believe that everything that you eat is going to kill you. So you don't really want to eat anything. So I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't eating. So it was a mental everything for me. It was everything. And then I was taking the pills. I was still on the pills. That's the tamoxifen that he advised me to take,
Uh-huh.
and so that can cause some sort of emotional, mixed feelings, because it does put you in menopause as well. And so with everything, it's just a combination of everything. And I remember I was in the kitchen one day, and I say, I remember one night I was in the room, and I felt like I was dying, and I was breathing hard, and I just lay down in the bed waiting to die like this, with my eyes rolling over, and I was just there lying down waiting to die. This anxiety
Uh-huh.
just take me over, and I give up, and I said, this is it now. I am going home. I'm going to die. And I said, no, get up, be strong. And I start moving around. And then after that, now I realized, now that happened like the Friday night. And then the Sunday, now I was in the kitchen again. And that anxiety came over me again. And I said, you know what? and I walk away, and I went in the room and I started crying. And I said, God, please. And I said, please heal me from this. I said, please give me the strength, God, God, please. And I started crying in the bed and I was crying out to God. And I remember somebody said to me, listen, if you have your daughter and your daughter start crying, if she say mommy, right? She just say mommy. You're not going to go to her with urgency, but if she scream out and say mommy, mommy, you're going to run, right? And
Mhm.
that is how God wants us to call upon Him,
Mhm.
And I remember I went in the room and I started crying and I said, God, please help me, just heal me from this anxiety. And I said, let it go away, God, please. And let me tell you, man, I prayed, man. You see that night when I went to my bed,
Mhm.
it's like I saw this a bright light. It was like a new day.
Mhm.
It is just so it was like a new day. And when I got up the next day, oh my God, that was the last day that anxiety. That was the
Wow.
last of it. That
Amazing.
Sunday was the last day of it. And that's when I realized that God is real. That
Amen.
very
Praise
day,
God.
I said, no, man. Yeah, man. I said, no. It was that day that I found my God. And I said, God is real. And I said, God, walk with me on this journey. I said, and God, what everything worked out for me. It was like a blessing. I've never been so blessed in all my life. I can tell you. I've
Mhm.
never felt that feeling. It was a different feeling. It's a
Amen.
totally different feeling. And I remember the morning on my surgery, the morning of my surgery, it
Mhm.
was after 6 and I got up and I was sad. And I thought probably, I just, I say, you are going into this big surgery. Everybody's saying it's risky, don't do it. Some people saying do it. This is. And I said, I was in the hospital and it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and I say, I'm going into surgery. And when they came for me on the bed, I remember I had my hands like this, and I said, God, go with me. I said, hold
Mhm.
my hands. And while they push me through that passage, we're going to theater. As I was holding my hand like this, and I said, God, go with me, walk with me. And this is how I held my hand going into surgery, as if I was
You
holding
were
on to
holding on to God's
God.
hand.
Yes, and I went into surgery, and I went into surgery. I wasn't fear. I was fearless. There, no fear at all. Nothing. You would think that I would be panicking. I would, my head would be going crazy. Of course, in a surgery like that, you don't know if you're going to make it back out alive, because
Right?
it was an all-in-one operation. Doing a hysterectomy, oophorectomy, nipple sparing mastectomy, reconstructive surgery, all in one operation.
Wow.
Of course, that's a big surgery. That's a major surgery.
Mhm.
And I didn't panic. I did nothing. I went in there calm. I was very calm. Went into surgery, came back out, and when I came back out, it was like 4 or 5 days in the hospital. And I had an experience in the hospital. One night, the night before I was discharged from the hospital, I remember I was in my bed and I heard like a chain thing around my bed. I
Mhm.
don't know what that was. I don't know if it have something to do with the surgery mentally or what, or some medication. But I heard like a chain thing around my bed, circling my bed. But it was like I was half asleep and half awake.
Mhm.
And I heard the chain noise, and I got up and I was looking around, and then I felt like my heart started pounding, like my breath leaving my body. It's like
Mhm.
I was dying, I was going, and I said, no, God, I said, help me, spare me. I need to see my daughter. I have to see my daughter. I said, spare me, God, spare me, please. And at that moment, I just, it's like I felt different, and I said to the doctor, I need to go home. I need to go home. I need to see my daughter. I want to go home. And the next day, he said that no, you still can't leave. And I said, please, I need to go home. And I went home, and there on, the healing process from surgeries, and then you wait again. You wait like maybe 3 weeks to a month on that report. I think you wait 6 weeks for that report now from the surgeries that will tell if you'll need chemotherapy.
Uh-huh.
And yes, I waited, and I got the news that yes, I do need chemotherapy. I started crying because you know what chemo is about. You hear about
Mhm.
chemo, that it is, you lose your hair, you get slim down, you feel sick, you vomit, all sorts of story, which it was true. Everything about chemotherapy, it was true. It was harsh. And again, um, God pulled me through chemotherapy again, because when I was going through chemo, I remember I played my song Gracefully Broken every morning. There's not a
Uh-huh.
morning, every morning I played Gracefully Broken. I prayed, and believe me, God pulled me through. Believe me, I mean, I had rough moments. I remember sometimes I said, Lord, how, I mean, treatment is so expensive. And I remember one morning, it was no, it was a Sunday, and I said, how am I going to pay for the next treatment now? Treatment is so expensive, like 100 and something thousand dollars every week.
Uh-huh.
And this is like 16, you're doing 16 weeks of chemotherapy. It was 6 months of chemotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how am I going to pay for my treatment? And I remember somebody came to me and gave me some money for my treatment, and she said to me, like she said to me that something in her vision tell her to come and give me that money for my treatment.
Wow.
And I
God
said, wow,
provides.
God is, yeah, man, God is really, really good. Because I remember that morning I was praying, and it was the same morning that lady tell me that, listen, something tell me to come and give this money to you, and it was the money that I wanted for my treatment. So let me tell
Praise
you, God
God.
really, yes, yes. And I did my chemotherapy. I lost my hair, but I still remain hopeful. I mean, we're all human beings. I had my down days,
Uh-huh.
but I try to stay positive as possible. And I waited. I did finish all my treatments. I was weighing like maybe 160 pounds. I went down to like maybe 105, 106 pounds. And then I went on to radiation. And radiation wasn't bad. It was a smooth journey. It wasn't that bad. More than you have to get up every morning to go on this machine, and your skin burn, but you still have a lot to be thankful for, because once there's life, there is hope. So I try not to dwell on the negativity too much, and I try to put God in the midst of everything, and that's what pulled me through.
Praise
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Beautiful. But tell us, tell the listeners and the viewers, um, what kind of support did you have? I know that you depended on God, and we have to depend on Him
Right.
first and foremost. But physical support from your family and friends,
My
that's also
support,
very important. But
yes,
sometimes I know
support,
it's
yeah.
not.
My support was tremendous. I mean, I wasn't on the journey alone. I wasn't on the journey alone. Between my husband, my cousin, my daughter's godmother, my stepdaughter, family, friends, Facebook, Instagram family, everybody was, the support was tremendous. I wasn't alone there. At no time I felt alone. And even now, it's like everybody's treating me as if, I mean, I still have to fight for my life, but there's that love and support is still there. It is, it is there. And I'm so grateful. I am overwhelmed with joy, and I said, thank you, God, that I have the support, because you do need the support, because if you don't have the support, it's hard to pull through, believe me. So support is very important, and I'm truly, truly blessed with the people, with everybody that, I have in my corner.
Wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful. You know, many young women, they don't seem to think that. I guess when you're young, you really don't think about these things so much. But you said you were actually in the shower and you were doing your self breast examination. I
right.
just want you to tell our listeners and our viewers, the importance of carrying that out.
Yes, trust me, it is very important, because early detection save life, and you don't want to feel a lump and wait and wonder if it's a hormone. Don't do that. Don't wonder if it's because you reach 30 or because you're in your late 20s. No, we take nothing for granted. Nothing. Nothing where that is concerned. Once you feel a lump, you must always do it. Even in your 20s, start doing your self check. Start, you do a little feel, always check to make sure that nothing is there. You check every month. You can check after your menstrual cycle. You check and make sure that everything is okay. At least once a month. You always make sure that you do this because it's very important, because you don't want to have that lump and sit with it. Because I know of somebody that is 27 years old. She sat with hers and now it's stage 4.
Wow.
I know a lot of 28 years old, 32, 33 years old. The other day, I lost a friend, 33 years old. She self-checked. She was thinking it was something else. She waited, went to stage 4, and now she's not with us anymore. So it's very important. And I know for me, it must have been God, believe me, because as I say, I wasn't going to go to the doctor and get it checked out. I wasn't thinking of doing that. And but I normally do some checks for some reason. I don't know why I normally check. Is that I'm not so much aware of breast cancer, but there is just something for me that I'm always checking. I don't know, but
Checking.
I'm not so much in the awareness. I wasn't so much in the awareness, you know.
One of the things we as Jamaicans, when something happens, we tend to say, "Oh, let me wait and see."
Yeah, wait and see. Yeah,
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 but
but
what would you say, to persons, "Let me wait and see"? What would you say to
no,
them?
no, you don't. You really don't want to wait.
You really don't want to wait, listeners. Waiting is not a good thing when it comes on to your health. It's not a good thing. Okay.
Yeah,
So
sorry, I got
you
lost. Yeah.
right, you were saying they don't want to wait. That's where we lost you.
Yeah, there's no wait and see. Believe me, you don't want to do that. You wait and see, and then you might not, it might be far gone, and the doctors will tell you, oh, there's nothing we can do. You don't want to hear it's terminal, you know.
Right.
Yes, you don't want to hear terminal.
So, listeners and viewers, we have with us well, not in studio because she's all the way in Kingston, yes, and we're all the way in Ocho Rios. But we have with us Kadia McCoy. For some reason, I just seem not to think that was the name I had, right? But Kadia
Right.
McCoy, and she is a breast cancer survivor. She's so kind to share with us this evening. And as we continue to talk, but before we get down to other things, I'm just going to take a commercial break. Okay, so I want to remind my listeners and viewers on Facebook to like and subscribe. Click subscribe so that we can build up our subscription, build up our Facebook viewers. So just go on to Facebook. The link is out, but if you have not received the link, just type in Missions Possible Ministries and you will see us on Facebook. Just like and subscribe. Okay, we're gonna go for a commercial break.
It's here. It's Beautiful Ashes, an inspired and motivational program dealing with real issues, real women, and real talk. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. on NPM Gospel Live with your host, Charmane. You can't afford to miss it. Beautiful Ashes, get addicted, get addicted, get addicted.
Join me, Reverend G. Black, for the program A Study in the Word every Friday evening at 8 p.m. on MPM Gospel Live Radio. You are sure to be blessed as we share the word of faith.
From a really small studio to a great big world, this is MPM Gospel Live Radio. Nothing but the best of gospel.
Grace United Church of God invites you to join us every Sunday at 9 a.m. Come one, come all. Expect a miracle. Expect your deliverance. Expect anointing singing. Expect your victory. Expect Holy Ghost preaching. come expect a blessing. We are located right in the town of Discovery Bay, right behind the police station. Come on, come all, join us every Sunday morning. We invite you this Sunday morning at 9 a.m. at the Grace United Church of God, right behind the police station in the heart of Discovery Bay. Come on, you're invited to Grace United Church of God. Come for your blessing.
Let's Talk Church. Let's Talk Church Live, an interactive, energetic, exciting program talking about the issues that churches face, the issues that we face as Christians. Young, old, middle-aged, it doesn't matter what demographic or status. Let's Talk Church Live, every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Let's Talk Church Live with your host, Bishop Waynell. There will be invited guests on occasions as we talk church live. We will discuss real issues that we face in the church, real issues that either cause you to love or hate the church. Let's Talk Church Live, every Tuesday and Thursday evening from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Let's Talk Church Live.
So, you are an eBay and Amazon fan, but you don't know how to ship your things to Jamaica? Check us out at Sanders Import. For all your shipping from eBay and Amazon, we will get your goods to you in the shortest time possible. You don't have a credit card? Come, we can help you. Check us out at Sanders Import. Telephone 876-434-5005. Sanders Import. This is MPM Gospel Radio, the best of gospel.
Viewers, welcome back. You are tuned into MPM Gospel Live Radio, and this evening we have with us the beautiful Kadia McCoy sharing her experience with breast cancer. And I am sure that, as you listen to her, your heart would have been moved as mine. There are times when I felt like I was ready to cry. But, it's just so wonderful to know that she is a survivor. She is a survivor. And, as she continues to share, she has a foundation. She started a foundation, Heads Up for Pink. That's it, Heads Up for Pink. You want to tell us a little bit about your foundation?
Okay, yes. So I started this foundation to help young women who are going through chemotherapy, and not just with the wigs. I mean, it's mainly about wigs because I know what wigs did for me when I was going through treatment. Because I think when you start losing the hair, then your confidence level can start to drop a little bit. For some people, it's okay. But for me, I was more low key. I remember when I was going to my chemotherapy sessions, I would just put on like a regular top and a little pants and just a wrap on my head. I wasn't well dressed until I received 2 weeks, and I put it on and I said, man, this look nice. And I started dressing up. And then when I started dressing up, everybody started saying, wow, you look nice. And then I remember my brother would say to me, then, you're really sick. You're sick for real? And I said, man, I must look that good, I say, and then I remember my daughter went with a bald head. She would say, Mommy, you look like Daddy. I need you to look like Mommy. So I said, but the wigs, I worked the wigs well. And I remember like even persons who didn't wear wigs. I mean, that wig like certainly encouraged them to like, hey, go get a wig. I remember people asking me, where you get that wig from? Where did you get that wig from? But I got them as gift, and I know what it did for me. It sort of uplifted my fighting spirit. And that is why I say, you know what, wigs are expensive, and if I can give back something, I'll give back the wigs. So that's how I came up with the foundation, Heads Up for Pink, young women. It's a foundation mainly for young women, because even on my journey, I remember I was searching for like my age group to relate to, but everybody was mostly most women were like 50, 60, 70, and I wanted someone my age group who I could relate to. And there wasn't anybody because most of the young women, they're shy, you know. So I said, okay, let me start this foundation, and I can probably, donate some wigs and bras, because once you start going through treatment, then bra changes, especially with radiation. So I said, let
Mm-hmm.
me get some bras, if I could get some bras, and even with the bottled water companies like that does alkaline water, I'm trying to get everybody on board, because once with a cancer diagnosis, then you definitely want to keep your body
Body
alkaline.
alkaline. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so so I try to get everybody on board. So far, I have Amara's on board. I have the Life Store. I have the Kiwanis Club. I have good support so far coming in for a
Wonderful.
heads up for Pink. Yeah, we're on Instagram and Facebook. So if there's anybody, going through breast cancer and need support, mental, and you need a wig, you need bra, you need water, any, vegan snack, you can reach out to me at 781-6732.
Okay, so in the same way, apart from those who may be suffering from breast cancer and need some help,
Right.
what about sponsors? You can put in your plug also if there are persons
Okay.
out there that would like to.
Right. So yes, I need everyone on board. You have some young entrepreneurs who are making like the natural body butters, and so I mean, and as I say, once dealing with a cancer diagnosis, you would want to go as natural as possible. So, everybody can play a part. You're making natural butter, you can donate a few, you know, if you have a farm and you want to donate some onions, you know, you want
Yes,
everything, you want everything natural. So if you can give like a dozen green banana, you want to give yam, you want to give pepper, I mean, I go to the market and get my stuff natural. We
mm-hmm.
go natural, we get natural stuff, we
Right.
go organic as possible, alkaline. So everybody can play a part, even the farmer can play a part. So
Wonderful.
yeah, it's everybody. We want everybody to be involved.
So there you go, listeners and
Yeah,
viewers, whatever you have. Liv, I want to just read some of the comments from
sure.
our viewers on YouTube. So we have comments from Stacy. She says, God is so good. Fresnay says, oh my God, the Lord made a way. Mignet says, praise to God be the glory, great things he has done. Sylvia Smite says, God cover you, my dear. And Mignet again says, continue to stay in God's presence, my dear. And phrase, a lot of women are terrified to know their status. And that is true. A lot of
Right.
persons,
Yeah.
I remember this coworker of mine years ago. Years ago, she just was so afraid to go to the doctor because she always said she'd rather not know. But
Right. Yeah.
tell us
Yeah.
about the importance of knowing.
Yes, it is very important to know. I'm not a person who likes to go to the doctor, but let me tell you something now. I love the doctor. I enjoy going to the doctor now. Let me tell you something. As I feel something now, anything, my neck hurt, my back hurt, my ears hurt, everything. I mean, I'm at the doctor. It's very important. You can't be afraid, because, as I say, if there's anything you want to get it from early. You want to sort of nip it from early, so that they can there's treatment will work. But when it's far
Right.
long gone, there's nothing that the doctors can do. There's nothing, absolutely
Exactly.
nothing. So you want to ensure that if there's something, you go to the doctor, so that they can get it, nip it from early, whatever it is. Very important.
Okay, there you go. Desiree said, God is good all the time. I want to thank the listeners and the viewers. Thank you for your contributions. And just to remind everyone else that your comment is always welcome. You can always share your thoughts on the program. You know, as we go, my producer is just distracting me. I'm sorry about that. But I just want to say, Liv, what do you have to say to those maybe young persons that are going through? Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be breast cancer. I have a coworker who has cancer of the sinuses, another one who is
Wow.
going through some stuff. I'm not even sure if it's cancer she's going through, but she's just going through some really bad illness right now. What kind of
Wow.
encouragement do you have for them?
Well, let me tell you something. Life is beautiful. Um, it's worth getting up and fighting. Fight for your life. Just get up each day and try your best to survive because life is beautiful. Think positive and remain with a positive attitude. Even when you feel like it's the end, keep going. You can survive. Change the way you think. Protect your mind from negativity. Just walk out positive like I did, walk out positive. Have gratitude. Gratitude erases negativity. You have to be positive in order to survive. Believe me. You can because your mind controls your body, and your mind can heal your body. So you want to remain positive. We're all human, and we have our times when we're a little negative, but you want to make sure that 99% you're positive and tell yourself that you're going to make it, you can do it, all is going to be well again. Yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful words. And I like what you said.
Right.
Gratitude erases
Right.
negativity. So,
Yeah,
you
and
know, that's
always remember that you die once but you live daily.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Opal says, such a powerful story. God is the great physician, a mighty healer. Continue trusting Him, He will take you through it all. Thank you, Opal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just say thank you. Thank you to my listeners on MPM Gospel Live Radio, for all those who viewed on YouTube. I want to thank you so much. But more than anything else, Kadia, I call her Liv, but Kadia, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for sharing on Beauty for Ashes this evening. It was such a pleasure to have you.
It was
And
a
let me tell
pleasure.
you,
Yeah.
God is going to continue to keep you. You know, there was one question that I wanted to ask, and before I wrap up, I have to ask you quickly. At the time, your daughter would have been 4 when you were
Right.
diagnosed with cancer. How did you tell her, and how did she deal with it?
Okay. All right. So first, my daughter. Before my diagnosis, right, she used to ask me about my dad. And I tell her that my dad died, many years ago. She asked what he died from, and I said cancer. And when I didn't thought that she would remember, I
Mm,
explained to her that mommy's sick and you have to stay with Auntie Candy. And she asked me what happened, and I said, mommy have breast cancer. And she said to me, are you going to die? And I said, no. I said, mommy will not die. I said, no, but she said, your daddy died. And I said, no, mommy will not die. The doctor will take out the cancer. I remember one night she was in her sleep and she screamed out in her sleep and she hugged me up and I said, what happened? I was frightened and I said, what happened? And she said, mommy, are you going to die? And I said, no. And she said, the doctors took out the cancer. And I said, yes. And I kissed her and I hugged her and put her back to bed. So that's what I had to deal with. She knew everything and understood everything that was going on. She didn't want to leave me even when I was going through chemotherapy. It's like there was a connection there. She just didn't want to leave mommy,
mm-hmm,
believe me. And every time I tell her that I have to go to the doctor, she say, you're sick again, mommy. She knows, she understands. So I try not to tell her everything now because I
mm-hmm.
realize that it affects her. So I try not to tell her anything else.
Wow.
Yeah.
One last thing. In all of that you were going through last year, you and your family had COVID as well.
Oh yes, that's COVID 2 weeks after chemotherapy, being immunocompromised. I mean, it was the diagnosis came with my husband first, and I said once he tested positive, I knew then that I would have been positive as well. And let me tell you something, it's only God pulled me through that again, because when he got the positive news, I was shaking and trembling, and I didn't sleep that night. I was trembling, I was crying, I was cold. And I said, no man, I said, you have to fight. I said, fight this, fight it. And I went to my bed. And I went to my bed the night trembling and crying and cold and everything. Because of course my husband was really sick, he fainted, everything was going, my life was upside down that time. And I went to my bed and I was crying and shaking, feeling cold. And the morning I prayed, and the morning I got up with a different strength. I don't know where that strength came from, but it was a strength I couldn't explain. Not even when I was going through chemotherapy, I had that strength. And I got up with a fighting spirit once again. And I said, I'm fighting this. I said, what COVID? I said, you're not getting me. I said, COVID, you're not going to get me. I'm going to fight. And I started drinking up whatever I'm supposed to drink. And I started praying. And I said, COVID, you're not getting me. And that is why I tell you see, your mind is powerful. And I say, you're not getting me COVID, you're not getting me. And I got up and I steamed out my face, and I did everything that I was supposed to do. I remember one night I felt so weak and I was going down. Like I look at my daughter in the passage and I said, this is it now, going down, I'm getting weak. I feel like I couldn't manage anymore. And I said, no. And I turn around and I look at my daughter and I said, no. I said, get up. I said, get up. This is your mind. You're going to be strong. You're going to fight and pull through. And I got up and I said, no, God, I'm getting up. And I got up off the floor. And that's when I said, no, man, I'm fighting this. And I fought for my life like never before. Not even with going with the cancer journey like the COVID, not even like that, but I mean, I pulled through once again, and I've been so close to COVID so many times after that. And believe me, I haven't contracted the virus since, but I've been really close, that I went to get tested several times. And let me tell you something, I just feel like, there's a blessing upon me. It's not my time, I'm here
Right.
for a purpose. And yeah, I'm here for a purpose. I feel like God is not ready for me yet. He's not
While you
ready.
were
Yeah.
talking, that's a thought that, God has his
Yeah.
hand upon you and you
Yeah.
have a purpose to fulfill. So
Yeah.
we have Monique said, God is a miracle working God. And Joy says, I believe what the devil meant for bad, God turned it around for good. He used this so that you could know him
Right.
and the
Yeah.
power of his resurrection. God is our
Right.
healer.
Yeah.
Grow in him. Great. And Monique says, great is the God that is within you. I noticed you said that when that night you went to bed, you were trembling and cold and everything, but you
Right.
prayed and you got up with strength.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
God gave you that strength. And I just want
Right.
to encourage you, Kadia, that you just continue to live in God's grace and his
Right.
mercy. Stacy says that she will be doing her mammogram. It's on her list every year. It's not an easy
Right.
road
Yeah.
going through this, Miss McCoy.
No.
God got
Yeah.
you. You were
Yeah.
covered. Thanks for giving us
Right.
ladies heads up. Yes.
Right. Heads up.
So there you go. We
Yeah.
are at the end of our we are at the end of our we are at the end of our program this evening, and I want to just say thank you again. And my listeners are saying, and my viewers are saying, thank you for sharing your story.
Oh, you're
Thank you
most
so
welcome.
much.
It was a
And
pleasure.
I
Yeah.
trust and I hope that you will just give yourself over to allowing the Lord to lead you, so that whatever
Right.
work He has for you to do, you will do it. And
Definitely.
just leave yourself open to him. I want to say thank you to all my listeners and viewers. You have tuned into Beautiful Ashes this evening, and I I know of a certainty that your hearts were touched and blessed by this testimony from Kadia this evening. And ladies, let me encourage you to do your self-breast examination. Early detection is key. And
Right.
remember that if you are ever diagnosed with cancer, you don't have to go the road alone. You've got God and you've got a support team.
Right.
Jasmine
Yeah.
says, God is good, His mercies are everlasting. So thank you again, listeners. Thank you
Thanks.
again for joining in this evening. And I just pray and hope that you will continue to share the link. Share the link. Encourage persons to tune in to MPM Gospel Live Radio, to go on our YouTube page to view this interview, and to continue to like and subscribe so that we can build up our listenership and our viewership. Again, I just want to say thank you so much. God bless you. May you just continue to walk in His grace. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, viewers, do not move your dial. Stay right where you are, because coming up next is our Let's Talk Church Live with Bishop Waynell, a very interesting program. It is controversial, it's informative, it's where you can share your views about what's happening in church, what's not happening, what makes you happy, what makes you sad in the church. Stay tuned. Thank you. God bless you. If you're on your way home, walk good, drive good. Remember to practice the protocols. Wash your hands, sanitize as often as possible. Wear your mask, practice physical distancing 6 feet apart, and God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
time, it's here, it's Beautiful Ashes, an inspired and motivational program dealing with real issues, real women, and real talk. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. on NPM Gospel Live with your host, Charmane. You can't afford to miss it. Beautiful Ashes, get addicted, get addicted, get addicted.
Serving Jamaica, USA, Canada, and the world. MPM Gospel Live Radio. Nothing but the best.
Let's Talk Church. Let's Talk Church Live, an interactive, energetic, exciting program talking about the issues that churches face, the issues that we face as Christians. Young, old, middle-aged, it doesn't matter what demographic or status. Let's Talk Church Live